Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Season 4 of The White Lotus. This is Brian Neubert from GoldandBlack.com, flanked behind me by fine art. You know where you might see fine art? The Purdue Union Club Hotel. Thank you so much to them, as always, for your support all these years. I'm going for a little bit of irony here. I have chosen an aesthetically pleasing background to discuss an aesthetically disgusting basketball game. So I hope you get the irony of this, the juxtaposition maybe. I'm not really sure what that word means, but I like it a lot because any word with an X in it is pretty cool, if you ask me. Anyway, Purdue beats Memphis. Number one, Purdue beats Memphis, 80-71. Beat is, we're taking a little bit of liberty with the word beat there, but it was ugly. It was horrible. It was a really, really ugly basketball game. On down the line. It was actually pretty humorous, too, when you think about certain elements of it. Purdue played from ahead. Purdue played from behind. Purdue didn't make threes. We think, and by we, I mean, according to Fletcher Lawyer, one of the rims was too high. And it just happened to be the rim where both teams shot poorly. So there is some evidence there to support his claim. The officiating was horrible. The floor was wet. Tempers were running high. Aaron Bradshaw wants to fight Oscar Clough. Trey Kaufman-Renn wants to fight everybody. And it was just an ugly, ugly octagon game. This was not a ballroom game. This was an octagon game. And Memphis, to its credit, its effort was exceptional. But Memphis got this game played in a manner where Memphis wanted it played in. They uglied up the game. They made it a fight. They made it a roadhouse brawl. Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott, all of them. It was a fight. It was just a fight. That's the best way I can put it. And a lot of stuff worked against Purdue. That was all mentioned earlier. And Purdue got through it. It took them 35 of the 40 minutes to, finally shake Memphis after they had numerous opportunities to do that. But to their credit, they came up with it. On a night when, Trey Kaufman-Renn wasn't his best self, Braden Smith, from a productivity perspective at least, wasn't his best self. And again, your shooting for half the game was, bad, which might be explained by a potential facility flaw if a guy who has seen a million rims in his life and shot a billion basketballs at those rims in his life is to be believed. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's Fletcher Lawyer's theory. And the shooting at that end of the floor was bad for both teams, so it is, I guess, conceivable. The floor, there's no question the floor was wet too. That's not really up for debate. Anybody watching it probably noticed. I think the officiating was terrible. I think that much both teams would agree upon. And personally, I felt like the officials even exuded their own lack of confidence in their abilities throughout the game. I don't know how well I can provide evidence of that. I just felt that way watching the game. Matt Painter is normally a pretty diplomatic guy with officials, but he was clearly had enough of this crew throughout the game. And it was funny when he said in the press conference, in the officials' defense, if they had just gotten control of things early, things would have been different, which really isn't defending the officials. That's not a defense. I'm not making fun of Painter. I guess I kind of am, but it's just funny how he put that. It was a really ugly game, but Purdue, again, to its credit, found a way. And I think a big part of the solution here was, Purdue having enough of a measure of toughness, enough of a measure of experience, just enough poise. I don't think this was a poised performance by Purdue by any means across the board, but I think they had it when they needed it. But I think the difference in this game was sort of the top-to-bottom winning quality of this roster, where you can have a game where Trey Kaufman gets in foul trouble, ultimately fouls out with, by his standards, 12 points and 11 rebounds and 4 assists is an off night. That tells you something about Trey Kaufman. But, Braden Smith is 2 of 14, 11 assists. Again, an off night by his standards. The shooting was an off night, but the overall game was, pretty good for a lot of people. But you're still in a position here where you need other people to really make a difference. And I think C.J. Cox really delivered, made open shots in both halves. So the extra inches on the height of the rim at the one end didn't stop him from making a 3 down there, but then he made the 2 open ones in the second half. He loves that corner J. As I said on Twitter, I think CJ must stand for corner J. He came up huge for Purdue. Hustle plays, did a decent enough job defensively. I think he rebounded, just found the ball when the ball needed to be found. Those putbacks were enormous for Purdue. But then Jack Benner, Purdue didn't just need Jack Benner to play, to eat minutes tonight. Purdue needed Jack Benner to win this game because of Trey Kaufman-Wren's circumstances. And Benner came up huge. Benner was really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because he dunked. I know that the dunk will be a highlight. But I thought he was excellent. With his overall floor game, just the substance he brought to the floor, his ability to start transitions, finish transitions. He rebounds above his weight class. So there's music starting here. That's Texas Tech and Wake Forest. So I apologize if the audio sucks all of a sudden. But again, top to bottom winning quality from Purdue. Daniel Jacobson, this probably wasn't a great game for him given how physical Memphis was, but for him to come in and, get 3 easy baskets off Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Wren's gravity, high percentage offense around the rim, you'll take it every time. And you're going to see Braden Smith get a couple layups, and you're going to see Trey Kaufman-Wren get the occasional back down 85% percentage hook shot eventually, because people are going to back off to make sure they stay with Daniel Jacobson so they don't give up a lob dunk. I think that's the element he brings to Purdue's offense here more than anything. That's a complete aside to my original point. Overall winning quality on this roster I thought really showed up. And for Purdue, to have to overcome the stuff it overcame, the floor being wet, the rim maybe being too high at one end, the officiating being bad, Trey Kaufman-Wren having a lapse in poise, for the better part of the first half there with the foul trouble and all that. Playing from behind quite a bit in this game. I think Purdue had to overcome an awful lot here, on top of Memphis being really tough, really physical, really tenacious, and just not going away. So I think this was one of those iron sharpens iron type of wins for Purdue, and you take them however you can get them. I know Purdue's got a number 1 next to its name, but this is a good example of when you've got that number 1 next to your name, the dudes you're playing against are going to play their asses off. And that's what you saw from Memphis, which could have completely imploded here. Credit to them. They lost at home by 14 points to a very, very marginal pedestrian UNLV team. They easily could have, dropped their wheels on the road and gotten their doors blown off here. That's quite a fitting metaphor there, isn't it? Every piece of the car basically flying all over the place. Credit to Memphis for playing really hard, but credit to Purdue for figuring it out and finding a way. And there was a point in the second half where it was clear, look, Purdue's just got to get through this. They got to find a way to get this win and get the hell out of here and start worrying about tomorrow. But for Purdue to have done that, I think was pretty positive for them. There's going to be Big Ten games, where circumstances are what they are. Maybe you're down 5 points in the second half to a team you should beat. Officiating's not on your side. It's cold outside. People are against you. The opposite of what was tonight, because the fans for Purdue were everywhere. But Purdue just kind of toughed it out. Purdue just found a way. And great teams find ways, even when, the deck is stacked against them. And the deck was, in a lot of ways, stacked against Purdue here as this game played out. So, again, you take them however you can get them. Good win for Purdue. In the way it happened, as much as it'll end up looking on the resume. But that's what I got. This is Brian Neubert from GoldandBlack.com. Go check out GoldandBlack.com. Subscribe to our site. You will like it. I promise you. Like, subscribe on YouTube, however you're getting this. Thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your support. As always, we appreciate it, and I'm sure your art is just as fine as this lovely maritime. Is that how you describe the theme? Maritime? Oceanic? I don't know. Anyway, thanks everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening, and thank you for processing our materials. However it is you process our materials, I will talk to you again tomorrow after Purdue plays either Texas Tech or Wake Forest. So we'll find out here in about a half an hour which one of them. So thank you, everybody. And thank you to whoever controls the music, whatever algorithm is running what music plays at which times, because the Cats soundtrack did not play during my rap video, which would have been very distracting because I would have broken out into song. So, thanks everybody.